Instant influence is a series of questions developed by a gentleman called Dr. Michael Pantalon that he utilized to rapidly get people that were having medical emergencies to listen to the doctor and follow through with the changes they're going to create. Because what he discovered is, I'm a medical doctor, you come in with major liver issues, I tell you, you've got to stop drinking because you're gonna die, literally, have one more drink, you'll die. You say, no worries, doc, I'm going to do that. And 3 months later, you're back in and you're still an alcoholic. And he got so annoyed that as a doctor, he was never trained, how do I influence you after we've done the procedure to change the behavior? So he scripted 6 questions, which are really some of the most powerful questions you'll ever find in the area of influence. And he found that they worked in under 7 minutes. So anytime I'm getting resistance in evaluating the problem and I'm seeing a lot of resistance there, I can use instant influence to then get you to that next stage. It's a series of questions that provides an autonomous, what's the word please? An autonomous way of creating change where the change happens from within. The most powerful change any human being can have in life is where they make the decision internally and no one else asks them to do it. So when you can change from within, the change absolutely sticks, and instant influence is the questions that allow you to do that. So it says here, if you're experiencing any resistance, if you're experiencing resistance in the process, you can use instant influence. Instant influence is a very powerful set of questions you can use to create internal change with a client created by Dr. Michael Pantalon. You can actually get his book, Instant Influence, and have a read. I think it's a very valuable book. It's a little bit dry, but it does clarify what's going on there. So the script is the stuff that's not in italics. When you see stuff in italics that's notes to you, not in italics is what you actually say. So now I say to the client, so I'm noticing that they're not answering the questions and they're a little bit, they want to change because I've given permission and they've followed the rules, but they're having a lot of resistance. I say, look, in order for us to move forward and gain the momentum you desire, I have 6 questions that I would love you to answer. Question number 1, why might you change? Now you do not change the wording of this at all. You do not add a word, subtract a word. No, these words are absolutely handpicked. When I say to someone, why might you change? Do you realize there is no pressure in that question? None. 0. So as a coach, I'm not applying any pressure to your already pressured situation because you're already experiencing resistance. If I say, why would you change? Inherent in that is saying that you want me to change. But if I say, hey, question number 1, why might you change? Just why might you change? Really softly spoken, why might you change? And they say, well, I might change for my family. I might change for this. And they're not saying they're going to change. They're just saying they might change. But we're now beginning the journey. Question number 2, how ready are you to change? On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 means not ready at all, 10 means totally ready. And they say, well, I'm a 3. You say, great. Now, question number 3, in my opinion, after 20 years of selling, is the best question I've ever seen in my life. It is the best question I've ever seen in my life. Here it is. Why didn't you pick a lower number? How good is that? Because everyone asks you, why didn't you pick a higher number? Now, the answer to why didn't you pick a higher number is all the reasons not to change. But the answer to why didn't you pick a lower number is all the reasons to change. So when I say, why didn't you pick a lower number? They say, well, because I want to change. Because my family is important. I didn't pick a lower number because I want to do this. I didn't pick a lower number. See, now they're backing themselves. They're actually selling themselves the change. So question number 3, you're going to watch something remarkable, and right before your eyes, this person's going to sell themselves transformation. It's bizarre. And you just get out of the way and feed back the key words. Your family's important? Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Why else did you pick a lower number? Why else didn't you pick a lower? And you get on a bit of a roll with them. Why else, why else, why else? And after a while, they are just literally 100% certain that they're going to change. I can't believe after 20 years I didn't come up with this question. It's so good. Now it says here, if they picked 1, either ask the second question again, this time about a smaller step towards the change. So if they say a 1, you might say, all right, let's just go back to question number 2. How ready are you to change, say, the shoes you're wearing? So if you're saying change your whole outfit, and they say, oh, it's a 1. And you can say, well, all right, let's go just back to question number 2 for a second. Let's say we just look at your shoes. How willing are you to change, say, your shoes, for example, out of 1 to 10? They might say, oh, my shoes? Oh, that's a 5. Great. Why didn't you pick a lower number? And then they'll reinforce that. So you can go back to 2 with the smaller chunk size. Or you can actually say, or ask, what would it take for that 1 to turn into a 2? So rather than saying, why don't you pick a higher number, you can say, just curious, what would it take for that 1 to turn into a 2? And they'd say, well, and you notice, they'll still, I'd really want to change. I really want to fix this. I really want to do that. They're still selling themselves the change. Question number 4, imagine that you have changed. So now we've actually got what's called a future pacing occurring. Imagine you've changed. What would the positive outcomes be? And now they reinforce all the benefits of their change. Notice you haven't said anything. You're not even, no pressure from your side. They're just doing the whole thing themselves. Question number 5, why are those outcomes important to you? Use something what we call the 5 why approach. So when they answer the question, so I say, why are those outcomes important? They say, oh, it's important because I want to set this retreat up. I get that answer and I feed it back through the question. So setting up a retreat, why is that important? Oh, because I want to be of service. Okay, being of service, why is that important? We call it the 5 why, 5 times why, because you get the answer 5 times and feed it back. So what you're doing is you're going to a different question each time. So if their first answer was a retreat, you get that question and put it back in the question. Okay, so why is a retreat important to you? They say service. Why is service important to you? I want to be a ball of light. Why is being a ball of light important to you? Because I want to feel important. Why is feeling important to you? And you keep doing that. So you just go through the process. We're going to practice all of this, by the way. I'm just giving you a quick overview. And the last one is the least pressured possible question you can ask a human being to take another step. And the question is this, and you have to ask it in exactly this way. What is the next step, if any? And they'll look you in the eye and they'll say, we do this process and we do it right now. You say, okay, let's do it. Done. So what happens at the end of these questions? They take about 7 minutes maximum, but at the end of them, they will have sold themselves from within. And they will absolutely want to change. These 6 questions in and of themselves could be a coaching technique. I've trained a room full of chiropractors a while ago, and they were looking for a process, and all we did was we just taught them this, instant influence, over and over and over and over and over again. They applied to their practices and got phenomenal results with it. So it is actually, it in and of itself is a mini coaching experience, a transformational experience. And they can come out the back of that fully transformed. Completely changed. If they're alcoholic, never drink again. If they're showing up late, never show up late again. If they're spending all their money, never spend their money again. It's very powerful, but I use it not as an actual technique, so to speak, but I use it as a thing to break down any resistance in order to continue with the process.